Hello, beautiful people. Happy Saturday and happy weekend. And welcome to your practical application of astrology and my personal story share. And also welcome to Aquarius season, because as of 2 hours ago, Sun moved into the sign of Aquarius, which means we are in Aquarius season. And also just before that took place, Sun made its last conjunction to Pluto on 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Capricorn, and this is the very last one in our lifetime. We will never experience Sun-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn in our lifetime, because the next one will be in Aquarius. But before we go any deeper with this, I just would like to recap what's been going on this week. And this was yet another week when Moon was in a mutable sign. We entered the week with Moon in a mutable sign. This time it was in the sign of Pisces, so of course that was straight away telling us that this is a week of culminations when things are changing, and this is going to be patterned for another 4 weeks because this week we are ending the week with Moon in Gemini. The week later it will be Moon in Virgo, and then again Moon in Pisces. So it won't be until past mid-February when this pattern will change. So we are still holding on to this mutable energy with regards to Moon when we enter into new week. So we entered the week with Moon in Pisces, and Sun made its last sextile to Neptune. Then there was not much going on Tuesday, Wednesday, but then on Thursday we had Mercury made its third and final sextile to Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Mercury at the moment because Mercury is in Capricorn. Then on Friday, Mercury made its last third trine to Jupiter, and Venus made the closing square to Neptune. And then today, Saturday the 20th, the big day, we had the Sun-Pluto conjunction. For me, it was early on this morning, and this was on 29 degrees, 59 minutes, and we know each sign has 30 degrees, and each degree has 60 minutes. So this was literally on the very last minute of Capricorn, and yeah, it literally is 5 to 12, isn't it? And then subsequently Moon moved into the sign of Gemini, where Moon will remain until afternoon Monday, or for some of you will be already Tuesday in Europe. And already Sun moved into the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto will move into Aquarius later on today. It hasn't actually happened yet at the time when I'm recording this video, but by the time you're watching it, it very likely will have happened. So today Pluto will re-enter Aquarius for the second time. Pluto will remain in Aquarius until beginning of September, 1st or 2nd, depending where you are in the world. And Pluto will then move back into Aquarius for its final third ingress on November 19, and it will remain in Aquarius until spring 2043, which is when Pluto will go into Pisces for the first time, but then move back into Aquarius, and then it will move back into Pisces in 2044, and I believe it will remain in Pisces until 2067. So Pluto's transit through Pisces will be even longer than Pluto's transit through Aquarius. So that's telling Pisces culmination, ending of the cycles. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The other thing is that my astrological forecast for next week was already released, predominantly focused on a full moon in Leo, the first first full moon of 2024. And the one thing that completely I blanked out about was that, well, of course it's the first full moon of 2024, the year number 8, because the number 8 in tarot is the strength, as I've been saying in literally every single video, and strength represents Leo. From the astrology and tarot connection, the number 8, the card strength, represents Leo, even though the number 8 frequency is associated with Saturn and Jupiter, but 8 represents Leo. And the other thing which I was tapping into was, well, it's happening, the full moon in Leo will be happening on 5 degrees 15 minutes, and number 5, fifth house, is the house of Leo in astrology, and this is something I completely blanked out about yesterday. And then as I was uploading it, I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot to mention this, so I am mentioning it here. Okay, so it's on the record that I actually made the association like a little bit late, but it's okay, I still made it. So anyway, so what's been going on this week practically and technically with all these energies that is shifting, which is a huge energy, because as I was saying yesterday in my video, Pluto in Aquarius is very different from Pluto in Capricorn. We will have 2.5 more months of Pluto in Capricorn for the eclipse season, no other. But all that said, still almost 10 months of this year, 9, Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, so we are already in this frequency that we will be experiencing for the next 20 years. But because we are just at the end, at the beginning of it, we don't know what it's gonna look like. We don't know what this really means, because I mean, and also as I was saying yesterday with regards to this full moon in Leo, it's squared by Mercury and Mars. Well, not squared. Mercury and Mars are squaring the nodes, and it's squared by Jupiter. So Jupiter is our perception of reality, Mercury is our communication, Mars is our vital force, it's how we take action, it's how Pluto acts consciously. So all these things are kind of unknown because it's the square, things have to change. So with regards to my practical application to my life and to what I've been experiencing, well, there are definitely, as you know, people are aware, people that are watching my videos, and especially the practical application, you know that I'm in a more or less hermit mode, being here in Mexico and fully focused on transmutation of the past energies, because this is on my Pluto line. So I always am presented with the opportunity to transmute something that makes me feel disempowered or limited or fearful, or something that is unresolved from the past. And as for everyone else, there are plenty of these things. And also, as I've been talking about in my previous videos, that this is an opportunity at literally at this time in our incarnation, in our evolution, to transmute everything that came before, because we are not taking this with us into the future. And actually at the end, I want to read what I just channeled for myself, because I write channeled messages for myself a few times a week. And this time I ask about this Pluto energy. So I'm actually going to share what came through for me. And there's no surprise. This is something which we all already know. But we really are, and this is something I strongly believe, that we really are right now living in a times where we are, I don't know even if encouraged or invited anymore, but it's absolutely essential to actually resolve these things of the past that are holding us back, that are still creating our life from the subconscious pattern. Because if there is something that is unresolved in our subconscious, whether it's due to trauma or program or whatever it is, if it's something that is unresolved, it keeps creating the same situation or similar situation. That's why we keep attracting people who remind us of people of our past which we have unresolved business with, like, you know, whether it's people who cause us trauma or suffering, or the parents we couldn't stand up to or be authentic with, or whatever it is. So we keep recreating subconsciously and attracting, because we attract that which we are in a frequency, which we are in frequency resonance with, like we are frequential match to. That's what we attract into our life in order to learn. And then once we learn that lesson, then we won't need to attract it anymore, right? So that's why I feel that for so many of us, this is the case, that we keep attracting these situations or people into our life, unless that lesson was already learned and, you know, the whole thing integrated and healed and forgiven and let go of. We will keep reattracting the same thing until we heal it, until we transmute the energy. We can see it very clearly on a collective level with what's going on in the world. We're recreating the same pattern, the same circumstances. Yes, there are certain, you know, like details that are different. Of course, you know, we have changed, like with regards to where we are at as a human collective, but there are still patterns that are unhealed and unresolved with regards to our behavior, our response to situation, and all these things. So that's why we can see it manifested right now in the world, that, oh, here is the pattern that is not resolved, that we, you know, kind of have a tendency to react to it in the same way, which creates the same outcome. And if that outcome is not desirable or no longer supporting us or lost meaning, then it's time to change it, right? So for me personally, especially with my current like living circumstances and the situation around me that are not fully in my control, well, because of the choice that I had made for where I am and where I'm living, there are things that are outside of my control that involve other people. I've had the opportunity actually throughout this week to face something that was in my subconscious, that was playing out role in my life previously, with regards to how I was brought up, what I observed being brought up with my family, and also a pattern that's been passed on from generation to generation throughout my ancestors, throughout my family on both sides. And it got unresolved because it was swept under the carpet. The people that I guess was involved in that pattern just didn't want to deal with it, because a lot of us are afraid to, like, many of us will choose to rather say nothing just to avoid conflict, right? Just to avoid conflict or confrontation. Many of us just like no, I don't want to deal with it, like, you know. And again, like, I'm not saying, because there are certain circumstances where we need to walk away from the situation, to give ourselves time, to take the breath, count to 10, whatever. So it really depends on the situation and what you feel is the right thing for you. But sometimes we really feel that, oh, I should have said that, but I didn't, because I was afraid, or I felt uncomfortable, or I felt, oh, let's just not stir that, the nest of wasps or something. But then the same situation will come over and over again. And this is what I've been observing, that there is a certain pattern that I'm observing, which was going unresolved. And it keeps being recreated, where I'm like, again, trying to respond in the same way, like, oh, no, I don't want conflict, I don't want confrontation, I'm just not going to respond and stuff. And then the same pattern appears again, and then I'm like, okay, well, I think it's time to change it. It's time to actually respond in a different way, assert myself in a different way, and set boundaries. And the participants of this situation, the situation just kind of... it turned up the way it turned up, but I was happy with myself for actually using a different approach, for standing up for myself, for setting a boundary, for asserting myself in a way that was respectful towards me. Because if I wouldn't have, then I would be disrespecting myself. And I also feel, because, as again I've been vocal about, I'm going through this inner child healing. My inner child doesn't trust me. Well, why should she? I'm like, never dealing with that, or like, it's all these situations where I would just choose, like, okay, well, it's too complicated, it's too difficult, or whatever, or like, let's just keep peace, right? Let's just keep peace. But you see, like, we're never going to take our power back if sometimes we don't stand up for ourselves, right? This is like where you really have to be able to discern what is healthy for you, right? Because this is like, it depends from situation to situation and individual to individual. It's not like one size fits all, right? We don't always are meant to react or respond in the same way to the same, it depends on a lot of different factors. But this is something that I observed, as I said, growing up in my family, for example, relationship between my mom and my dad, or my grandparents when they were still alive and stuff. This pattern of things not getting resolved, like pretending, oh, it never happened, like, just keep up the appearances, and then the same pattern would appear again. And it's the same happening in my life, that there are certain patterns that are reappearing, even though it's different people that are helping me to see it or something. And I had the opportunity, and I took it. This time I took it, and I chose a different approach, and I actually felt better about myself. And I also felt that, oh, okay, well, I actually can stand up for my inner child. Because if we keep avoiding challenging situations and don't actually assert ourselves, especially where it does make us feel disempowered or afraid, then we're still giving the power away to the other person. And then, yes, then we don't feel safe and secure within ourselves. Because if our adult self cannot assert himself, herself, then how is the child going to feel safe? The inner child, and this is all you. You are your own inner child, you are your own inner parent, you are everything. You play out all these archetypes, they all exist within you. This is what I'm, talking about more and more, that we need to start seeing things from the multidimensional level, from the higher perspective, because nothing is happening in separation, and nothing is just one way. There is no actual linearity, but this is how we understand it, to kind of, to be able to make sense of things in this reality. But it doesn't actually exist that way. It's just how we interpret it to make sense out of it. So again, me actually facing this situation face on, head on, it actually helped me to feel that I took a little bit of that power back, the power that's been lost over the generations, ancestor line with regards to relationships that, like I said, I've been observing, and also my own relationships. And now I know that, okay, if something like that happen again, I can do it because I've done it once, I've done it before. I'm not saying it was easy. I was shaking all over my body. I was definitely like stressed and stuff, but I know that, I have everything I need within me to face these situations, because otherwise they wouldn't be happening. And that's why I even said many times, even before I started doing this work, I would say to my friends, even friends in conversation, I would say like, well, if you attract in this situation, then in a sense, congratulate yourself, because it means you're ready. You're ready for the next level. You're ready to transcend this, this whatever stage of your evolution you at, and get to the next notch. But that's why we always need to pass the test, because it literally is like game. It literally is like for people who play computer game. In order to get to the next level, you need to pass the one you are in. And there is not necessarily like right and wrong, or like, oh, I haven't done it yesterday, so I failed or something. It's just you are where you are. And each time when we don't pass, we observe something, we gather tools which we can then use next time we are faced with the same situation. And and then eventually we will be ready. We'll have enough tools, or we'll have enough confidence or faith within ourselves to do it. And the more you do it, the easier it will become. And then there will be more challenges, different kind of challenges to overcome, because that's life, right? It will never get to the point it's like, I've done it all, I know everything, and that's it. Like I said, that's usually where you die, because once the soul feel like, oh yeah, mission accomplished, I learned what I came here to learn in this life, then it's time to go. Because I will potentially need different avatar, different environment, different program, different bloodline, different whatever, to be able to focus on something different to learn, right? Like, I mean, whatever. It's just like, it's all this never-ending cycle of evolution and continuously growth, and like the spiral, the spiral, just like, like just continuously evolving. And this is literally where we at right now. And it's so interesting for me with this, observing this moon since literally the weekend of the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, observing moon being in these mutable signs, like continuously, like literally since Christmas weekend, moon has been in mutable signs at the end of each week and the beginning of the next one. And like I said, this pattern will continue. I think it's the 18th of March or something like that. Well, whatever is the Monday after that mid-March weekend, where we will start the week with moon in Cancer, and that will be the first one this year, not March, February, sorry. So literally we'll have like 2 months, like 2 full cycles of moon, like moon in mutable signs at the beginning of the week. And this to me is very telling, because it's really saying about this need for flexibility and adaptability. Because the more we learn, like, with the Gemini, the more information you gather, and then you're able to discern and, put it into practical application and learn from it. And then, use these tools for feeling more competent, that are helping you to feel that you're closer toward that self-mastery that you came here to achieve and grow into. The better it gets, the better it gets. Literally, the more that we are open to all these things, the more opportunities we have. Because it's, I mean, again, I have a lot of fixed signs. Like, I'm Aquarius rising, I'm Taurus sun. I have my nodes in Scorpio and Taurus. I have Pluto in Scorpio, Saturn in Scorpio. All these fixed signs, right? So for me, it's always been very hard. It's always been very hard because this need for safety and security from the traditional astrology. My North Node is in the 4th house, from evolutionary is in the 3rd, but so there was this need to find my own inner safety and security, this self-nurture, this sense of being at home, and I never had that. I never felt at home anywhere. Like, literally wherever I've been in the world, I never felt at home. Like in Slovakia, where I was born, I never felt at home ever. I always felt that I need to get the hell out of here, I don't belong here. When I was in England, I was always the foreigner. Even when I lost my Slovakian citizenship and got a British one, I was like no man's land. I no longer had the paperwork to claim that I was from the country of my origin, but I was not British. I just opened my mouth and people know I wasn't born there, so I didn't ever belong anywhere. And actually, that's why when I worked on cruise ships, I felt like, oh, okay, this is the first place where I felt like I belong, because there was like it was mixture of people from like 60 different countries, and everybody could be whatever they want to be, you know. There was no like strict rules like you have to be this or you have to be that and whatever. So it was like it wasn't fully like a home, but it was the place where I really felt for the first time the sense of belonging, even though, you know, it also had its shadow aspect, which was like for people who ever worked in cruise ships or this kind of industries, you know that you have to behave a certain way, and you cannot like be fully yourself. You cannot be fully authentic because you are representing the company, and that's how it is. You know, you cannot just go and talk about whatever, whenever, and you know, wear whatever, you know, uniforms and all that. So anyway. So then after I left England in 2022, when my life fell apart after the lunar eclipse in Taurus, now I'm just like digital nomad. Again, I don't belong anywhere, but the more I don't feel attached to a particular place or country or an identity, because even now working as an astrologer, or I don't even put a label on it, because I don't even think I'm an astrologer. You know, it's not like I know all about evolutionary astrology or anything. I'm like an amalgamation of all the experiencing skills and tools that I accumulated on my way, and I'm continuously accumulating, because my north node is in a third house. This is the story of my life, which again, as I keep saying to people, don't give your power away to your chart. So you can always change it. The way you interpret this is up to you. But I've always been very curious and very open-minded. I mean, I have Sagittarius on midheaven and Jupiter in the first house in Aquarius. So, you know, and my Jupiter and Uranus have mutual reception. So I've always been very, very open to the world, but my fixated energy was keeping me stuck because I was seeking the safety and security externally. It was whether like, oh, I need to belong to this country, I need to be like British, I need to lose my accent or whatever. Or, you know, I mean, I never really cared that I didn't belong in Slovakia. Not that anything wrong with it, but I just knew that this was not the place I'm going to thrive, because it's just too limiting for me. It's just the environment, especially the one I was brought into, that I was born into, was too limiting for me. It was keeping me too small. So I had to go and cut myself free. But the whole point why I'm even mentioning this is this last conjunction of Pluto and Saturn, because this is culminating this 15-16 year cycle since Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, and it's culminating this year in this last conjunction. And the fact that we started this year with new moon in Capricorn, first one of the four, we are in a year 8 associated with Saturn, and the first full moon is the full moon in Leo, which is the strength card, the number 8 in a tarot. And Leo is all about your creative self-actualization. It's all about your purpose and destiny and being who you are. So this is why I'm explaining, I don't know if I'm explaining, I'm sharing my story, and I'm saying that I never really felt at home anywhere because I needed to find it within myself. And this is the process I'm going through right now, because I'm trying to dig so deep to actually figure out like what other aspects of myself currently that I adopted, inherited, and was passed on to transmute until I can be truly, truly, truly myself. Because there are all these unresolved things that are holding us, in a sense, hostage. I don't know if I would even put it that way, because there are contracts. There are contracts between us and everything that came before us. You know, there are all these contracts with all these people, this family bloodline and everything. There are contracts with everything because we all connected. We all came here. You didn't just come here, you know, just to, like I said, just to chill on a beach drinking mojitos, even though that could be part of it. But we all have work to do here. You have work on yourself as a soul, on your individual path. You have your own work to do, that with regards to what the soul wants to experience. Like the soul gets excited. The soul is like, oh yeah, let's go to planet Earth, the planet of polarity, where we can experience this whole spectrum of literally everything, you know, all these different emotions, experiences, all the palette of everything. And the soul is excited because it's like, ooh, you know, like being in a candy shop. There is all these things to choose from. But we are being brought into this world from a body of a woman that came from another woman that came from another woman, and this is how it goes. So all these genes, all this DNA, all these memories are being passed on to us. So we came here to have our own unique experience, this Leo, you know, like being uniquely yourself, you know, find your own identity, your own cancer, like who you really are within, right, your inner world. But at the same time, we are also we've been passed on that which we were born into, and we have the ability to heal that which came before, which is what I was talking about last week with regards to this ancestral trauma, ancestral suffering, unhealed trauma, which then created the childhood trauma, you know, the wounded inner child, because most of the majority of that comes from lack of safety and security. That's all Cancer Capricorn. You know, that they are the axis, the Cancer Capricorn axis, the inner safety and security, the lack of nurture, which was done by people who also haven't been nurtured. And this is how it goes. This is how it's passed on. So this year 2024, the year of strength, the year of Saturn, the year of 4 Capricorn lunations, started with the first starting with the new moon and ended with the new moon in Capricorn, but the first full moon being the Leo one, and the last new moon of 2023 was the Sagittarius and Leo. They trine each other. Sagittarius new moon was trined by the North Node. So this is all that I was diving into and putting together in my astrological forecast that I recorded yesterday. It's already my YouTube channel if you wanted to check it out. But this is what it all, you know, is directing us towards. There is this new, completely new life, this completely new story, this completely new paradigm being created behind the veil. It hasn't manifested yet because we need to decide. You need to decide which aspect of it you want to experience, like what is the story that you want to have going forward. But in order to really decide, we also need to recognize what are we leaving behind, because we cannot have both. Because right now, as you can see, if you look at the pattern of your life, as I can observe, all these things of the past play such an imperative role in our current life, you know, by us attracting these people, circumstances, and all this, in a sense, much of it, a lot of it, dramas, for us to face these patterns of the past that are unresolved, because all these things, they are a continuation or a reminder of that which happened long time ago, whether it happened to you, whether it happened to a version of you in previous lifetimes, because you never were exactly who you are now, and you will never be exactly who you are now. That's why you are Leo. That's why the sun is only for this lifetime. In evolutionary astrology, the sun is only for this lifetime. You might have had Pluto in, you know, like I have Pluto in Scorpio in a 9th house. So I might have had Pluto in Scorpio, or Pluto in a 9th house, or Pluto in 8th house before, you know, for sure. Very likely I did. But this sun is just for this lifetime. The soul chose your sun specifically for, that's why most people know what their sun sign is. Your soul chose your sun sign specifically for this lifetime, because you never were acting from the point of your sun in the same way you are now, because sun is unique. It's the Leo. That's what makes you unique. And you never were exactly who you are now, and you will never be exactly who you are now again. Like all the other planets might be wanting to work on the same patterns, especially Pluto, right? But you will never be the same person you are now to work it out, right? So in order for us to truly embody that Leo, which is what the full moon in Leo will be illuminating to us, you know, are you ready to become your true authentic self? Are you ready to follow your true authentic purpose, right? But what is it? What is the authentic when we have all these layers of identities and conditioning that came from what was before, that we need to heal, that we need to transmute, so they don't control our life anymore. So, and I mean, again, I don't want to make it like, oh, it's all negative and we just were being this massive burden from the ancestors and oh my God, they screw me up and stuff. No, because there was also a lot of gifts. Like, what is the positive that we inherited? You know, like, I don't know, maybe, you know, your parents were very smart. Maybe you have this connection with nature. Maybe you're beautiful. Maybe you have nice singing voice. Maybe you are artistic. Maybe you are whatever. people person, maybe you are psychic, you know what, we are all psychic, but you know what I mean, some people more than others. So what is it, you know, we all inherited gifts, and we all inherited lessons and challenges that we came here to help to overcome, and this is for ourselves on our own individual soul path, and for the collective, and for the people that came before us, you know, the ancestor line. So until we resolve these things, it will still be affecting us to a certain extent. And yes, we will always have more to work on, but I really feel that with Pluto in Aquarius, the 20-year transit, but this year, especially this year, things are so shifty. They are so shifty. This year, everything is like changing because we are in this transitionary period. And like I really feel that, you know, especially during these 20 years, Pluto in Aquarius transit, there is like such a fastening, quickening. There is this opportunity for resolving these things very quickly. And that's why I feel people who've been on this path and doing this work, people who are already awakened light workers, it's challenging for them, because we have to be kind of, I mean, there is no right and wrong, and nobody is better than anybody else, but there are teachers and guides on every level of the journey, every step of the journey. That's why even you know, the more you grow and evolve, your guides also grow and evolve, and you get new guides. And, you know, because guides that are like, you know, for example, for me, you know, I didn't have an astrology guide before I started doing astrology, like what he would be doing, or she, you know, they're like chilling there, like, hey, well, she's not ready yet. Okay, let me go and help someone else or whatever. Even though this is, again, just a linear way of us looking at it, because these are all beings that can be anywhere at any time, and it's not restricted by time and space, and it's not like this single person, right? But anyway, without going into all of that, so what I'm trying to say, what did I try to say? Now I got lost into the rabbit hole with this, what was I talking about this evolution guides, the more we grow and evolve. I don't know, I completely lost it now. I lost my track of thoughts. But anyway, you know, the more we grow and evolve, the more our guides grow and evolve with us, and the more we're going into this direction of our evolution, which, like I said, is continuous spiral, is a continuous change. Oh yeah, the 20 years Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, I got it. So 20 years Pluto in Aquarius is an opportunity to really transmute everything, you know. So previously we were born into all these different incarnations to work on one topic, to transmute some one thing, or learn some lesson, or have a totality of experience of this one thing, like being a slave all our life, being a king all our life, being a soldier all our life, whatever, you know. There was not I don't believe that there was much of a multidimensionality as per se. But that is changing now. Literally, in this lifetime, in this singular lifetime, you have the opportunity of a lifetimes to transmute the energy of everything that came before. Literally, that's how quickly it can happen. You know, even when I had my channeling, they even said to me that, oh, don't worry about all your past lifetimes. You focus on this lifetime. You need to transmute this lifetime, because they said everything's been like compressed into this. So it can be done, you know, it can be done. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people, especially the people I'm coming across from my work, are saying, you know, they feel like they lived so many lifetimes already in one lifetime. There is one thing after another. There are all these opportunities for growth, all these lessons. And this is what I mean, that we are literally living. And that's what also came through the channeling, through my message that I received, that we are living in the most exciting time in like human history, because this is an opportunity for such a huge leap in our spiritual, evolutionary, and whatever growth, that we can just let go of all this past, let go of all these things that are holding us back, and subconsciously attracting and co-creating these old patterns, these old lessons. So once we passed it, once we've done it, we don't have to go back. So then the slate is clean for you to just live your life for your authentic self, without all this conditioning, program, unhealed wounding, ancestor trauma, all of that. So now really is the time. To face it, to really transmute it, and to see what is this thing. So that's what I mean, like, you know, there is this pattern that's been literally passed on from generation, and there is many more, and I'm sure many more will become conscious. But there is this particular pattern which I became very aware, and this week I decided, no, I'm not doing this anymore, like I'm done with this, I don't need this experience. I've been, I've experienced it many times. No, thank you. So yeah, so what is it for you? And this is what I mean, we have really this massive gift, in a sense, this opportunity to go through all this stuff and be done with it once and for all, leave it behind, so we can actually start creating reality consciously through the point of your authentic self, whatever it is that is calling to you, and no longer having to have to carry these 10 of wands, these burdens of the past that are, like telling that, oh well, this needs to be resolved. It's not resolved yet. All these ancestors are waiting, like, hey, somebody needs to resolve it. We are gone now. You need to resolve it, because if you don't, we'll come back and we'll have to resolve it again. So can you please try? So that's pretty much what's going on. And then, of course, like I said, collectively it's showing up the way it's showing up, all this wounding again from that's been passed on from generation to generation. Nothing new under the sun. Like I said, everything that we are experiencing globally, collectively, is not new. All of it, it's been around for many centuries, if not millennia. Nothing of that is new. The way that it's presented to us, or the way that it's manifested, could have some new factors because of the time and age we're living in now. So, like the details are different, but the energy of that is not new. None of that is new. All this religious conflict or this division with regards to whatever topic you want to choose that people disagree on, it doesn't matter. All this, the things that are being done to children and stuff, none of this is new. This already existed like thousands of years ago, but it was just normalized, because people weren't conscious, because they were more in touch with the human animal, not the human spirit, right? But now things are shifting. Now we have the opportunity to ascend, to rise, to evolve, to not just be attached to this human density and our carnal needs and our which all is part of it. It's all part of it, but like when we are not conscious, that's all that's operating our life, just our human needs, right? But we are not just humans. We are a divine being having a human experience, and this is why we need to marry the two. This is what I need to do for myself also. This is what I'm working on, to marry the two. And this is where we dissolve the fear, because when we are in this union with ourselves, our higher self and our human self, and they are co-creating together, then we know there's nothing to fear, because everything is perfect. Everything is happening exactly as it needs to for the growth and evolution to take place. So that's why I feel with this Pluto, moving into Aquarius, there will be such a rapid acceleration from every aspect possible, whether it's for us to keep experiencing more and more of these things faster and faster, which, is what I was mentioning in my non-prediction video for 2024, because I didn't want to make prediction, but somehow things came through anyway. And yeah, and it's gonna be more and more. And that's why even when I was talking in my last interview with Lada about this conjunction, Pluto Sun conjunction on 29 degrees 59 minutes, literally everything Pluto dug out in the last 15-16 years will be dished out. Like, all the dirt is coming up. It's all coming up. But why is it coming up? Well, because it's time. It's time. We cannot no longer turn a blind eye and just be in the hamster wheel and pretend that, oh yeah, this is not happening. Let's just keep living this way because we don't have much more to go, and then somebody else can deal with it. Yeah, this is like, again, my parents. Like, no, we don't want to change. We don't want to learn. We're too old, we're just going to die soon. So I don't want to deal with it, So I'm like, okay, so I guess I have to deal with it then. So anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Because, everybody's got their journey, and there is no judgment, because how do I know what is best for somebody else's soul? Which is, again, when we get so like, and not always just judgmental, but we can get so like over empathetic, where we go like, oh, this shouldn't be happening, la 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 la, and all this. How does anybody else knows anything about somebody else's soul's purpose? Nobody else can know, because only you know. The seed is within you. So that's why when we say this shouldn't be happening, how do we know? On a soul level, yes, on a human level, there are a lot of things that shouldn't be happening, that shouldn't exist, but they do. Why do they do exist? Well, for us to see that this is not okay, that this needs to change, that, if we think it shouldn't exist, why does it exist? Well, because obviously there are still aspects of our human collective, even though it doesn't have to be you and I, that want for it to exist. Why do they want for it to exist? Because, because somebody is not healed, somebody is traumatized, somebody is wounded, and that's why these individuals then want to control and have a power and hurt people. Because, like I said yesterday in my video, hurt people, healed people don't hurt people. Why would they? So anyway, so again, going back to this Pluto in Aquarius, this will be such a massive acceleration, and it's going to bring both, because everything currently has polarity. So there's going to be positives, there's going to be challenging, aspects of it. And it will be, again, up to every single one of us and our stage on our journey and our healing, how we going to interpret that opportunity. Will we just see it from that one vantage point, which is just, this shouldn't be happening, is bad, and that's it, and then just go into despair and fear, and or are we going to see like, okay, yes, I'm acknowledging, I'm observing, I'm feeling this emotion, this is what's happening on a human level, this is what's happening, but what else is happening in this situation? Let's not miss out on the opportunity for learning and integrating this lesson, so we don't have to have it again, because everything is happening for a reason. Universe makes no mistakes. There are no mistakes in the universe. Everything is perfect. You can see the nature. There are no mistakes. Nothing is ever done by accident. And then when we actually look at life through that perspective, then and inquire that, okay, well, what is going on here actually? Like, why is this happening? Why is this still happening? Well, because there is something that hasn't been corrected, right? So with regards to my personal life and my personal story and my personal experience, the longer I'm here, because this is my Pluto line after all, the more I'm attracting situations, patterns, people, even with regards to romantic relationships. Like, it's very fast for me to observe how easy it would be for me to slip into the old pattern when a person pops up on a scene of my life, and then I, straight away there is this automatic response how I would behave. Like, oh, this is what I've always done, right? But actually, I've always done that. Why did I end up single? Well, because apparently it doesn't work. It doesn't work for my soul and my evolutionary path. So I'm observing, okay, previously I would have done that. Okay, let's just observe and stop myself and say, why would I do that? What am I trying to achieve by doing that? Where is it coming from? What is actually unhealed within me? Where is the unmet needs that I'm trying to project onto someone else to meet for me? In which case I'm giving my power away, because now I need you to meet that need for me. And then that makes me feel afraid, because what if you leave? What if you abandon me? And with Pluto Scorpios, our generation, we have a very, a very good experience with abandonment, loss, betrayal, most of us, at some stage in our life, because this is what we came here to resolve. Pluto is Scorpio, our generation, we came here to resolve this fear of trust and vulnerability, because we experience abandonment, fear, betrayal, death, loss, all that. So that's why we keep attracting. And I mean, I can only speak for myself because I'm Pluto Scorpio. I cannot speak for different generation as much, even though my Pluto is in the 9th house, which has the impact of the Pluto Sagittarius, and my Scorpio is intercepted. So I'm also still getting Pluto Libra. And for the first half of my life, at least, even though I was a rebel, I still try to belong and please people and people please. And this is why I had the main conflict with regards to my relationship to my family, when I just wanted them to accept me for who I am, which is because I was continuously rebelling. And they never did. They couldn't, because I needed to accept myself. I wanted them to do it, so I would be validated and feel like, okay, I can be this way. But of course, they're never going to say that, because that's the role they play, and they play it very well, just like these people in the world that play the role they do, that, are dark, and it triggers us, and it say like, this shouldn't be happening, they shouldn't be playing this role, but they play it so well. Somebody has to play these roles. Like, again, when you go to the movie theater, as every single person in that movie was a good person, it would be boring. Who would go and watch it? Like, people want to see somebody, they want to see some excitement, they want to see like, oh yeah, this person need to overcome this challenge, so then they are a hero, and then everybody is happy and they're proud of themselves because they can see like, yeah, look at my Taurus, I survived. And that's life. All of that's life. So that's why I'm like, And again, I'm part of the same thing. So, I can observe myself being triggered and responding. Like the first reaction is fear, and it's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? All this stuff with all the fear porn and fear mongering that's going on in the media. And I don't watch media, but I somehow still get a whiff of what's going on. And I'm like, okay, well, that's it then. We all do. We might as well give up, right? No, of course not. Because that's exactly what these shadow players, that's exactly why they're doing it. They are the buddy to make you the hero. This is exactly why they're doing it. This is the role they play, consciously or subconsciously. Because they want you to wake up to the realization that you are the hero of your life, that you can overcome everything. Everything you experience and you can overcome. Because otherwise you wouldn't be experiencing it. So again, us on a human collective experiencing right now everything that's happening in the world and will continue to be happening, especially like I said with Pluto entering Aquarius as of today. So let's just see the roller coaster of the next 8 months until September 1st, and then we'll have 2.5 months of a kind of, I don't know if it's gonna be a breather, guys, because it's gonna be an eclipse season. And we'll have the first eclipse in Pisces because there is no full lunar eclipse in Aries, remember? So anyway, let's just see. I mean, nobody knows exactly. And also, Pluto in Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is unpredictable. It's like, you think it's gonna go that way, well, watch, it might go completely different way. And it's about this letting go of the control, which is another aspect of myself I'm learning to embody, letting go of the control. Why do I want to control? Because I don't trust. Why don't I don't trust? Because I don't feel safe. Why don't I feel safe? Well, because of all these circumstances that are appearing in my life, which I feel, oh, they shouldn't be happening. Why are they happening? They shouldn't be. I don't like it. They shouldn't be happening. Why are they happening? Well, they're happening because it's an opportunity to transmute them and take the power back. And then they won't be happening anymore because I learned the lesson. And this is the same for every single one of us. And this is the same for the collective experience. They are happening because we didn't learn the lesson. Once we learn the lesson, they will have no need for happening. The same with all these people playing the role because of which these situations are happening. Why these people exist? Because we still feel disempowered, because we still externalizing our power. So all these people and circumstances are giving us an opportunity to take the power back. So then you become the hero of your hero's journey and feel like, oh yeah, I learned a lesson, I learned something. And then when we go back to spirit world, we'll be like, well done, you've done it, even in a human form, against all the odds, against all the polarity, against all these, things that's going on in here. You've done it, well done. And then you've grown, right? And then there will be next thing, because it's a continuous circle. So all in all, this is not so complex. We make it complex because the details, the feelers of these lessons are complex, because it's like all these things are happening, it's overwhelming, all this stuff is going on, and there'll be more going on because Pluto in Aquarius accelerates everything, and it's like detached, because Aquarius is air. It's like, it's a fast energy. It is humanitarian. It is designed to set you free and help you to see yourself as equal individual, part of some community or whatever. But in order to get there, how are you gonna get there? Well, that's up to you. That's the hero's journey. That's the opportunity for facing our traumas and things that make us feel disempowered and transmute them, transform them, transmute them. Because Uranus is about transformation, Pluto is about transmutation, and you have the two together. Imagine what's going to take place. Everything that needs to take place for these lessons to not need to exist, because then Pluto's going to move into Pisces. Pisces is the end of the cycle. Pisces is the culmination of everything that came before, and is the opportunity for healing and forgiveness. We're going to have the nodes moving into Pisces Virgo next January 2025. So the eclipses will be there. However, we already have the first eclipse in Pisces in September. Why? Where is the last time Pluto is in Capricorn at that time? Pluto will be in Capricorn for that eclipse in Pisces. And then for another new moon solar eclipse in Libra, number 2, because we already had one last year in 2023, because the relational paradigm is changing. The way that we are as human beings and that the roles we play on this planet is completely shifting. Because yes, we have a free will, and the universe gave us this playground, like, okay, you go and play and stuff, but then it's like, okay, well, it's time to go to school now. You cannot stay in kindergarten no more. So, kicking and screaming, we gotta learn, and now is the time. Kicking and screaming, we need to learn to get to the next level, because we're ready, because our souls are ready. The souls that are incarnate at the moment, every single one of us chose to be here. Not everybody is going to be here for the 20 years, but those souls that will come in within Pluto Aquarius transit, they are ready. They are all ready. They're waiting. They queue it up there. Like Pluto in Aquarius, I mean, the power, and Aquarius, the fixated energy, So nothing is a coincidence, nothing is accident. This is such a vast energy. I mean, it's simple. Like the whole higher perspective, the higher picture is very simple, but looking at it from being right down here on planet Earth and being in the middle of all of this and being present for everything that's going to be taking place is not going to be simple at all, because we are culminating everything that came before. I mean, yes, the true end of culminations will be Pluto in Pisces, but now Pluto is shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius. So we are culminating the Pluto in Capricorn experience, and this is all connected to this external authority, which is the way the system has been set up for a very long time, the hierarchical system. Somebody at the top, the rest at the bottom, right? And that's not how it works in Aquarius era, in Aquarius age. So this is going to be very interesting year, let's just say. So today I feel that, I feel very introspective today because of this conjunction. And even though Sun has moved into the sign of Aquarius, which technically is now my first house, but from the Porphyry system, not yet, because my ascendant is on the 4 degrees. But Pluto moving into Aquarius today, it's going to start changing everything. And the fact that Pluto is already in Aquarius for this full moon in Leo, it's very telling, because this full moon in Leo is serving us to see what we didn't see 5 months ago in August. And that is the new version of yourself which you are becoming, which has a completely new purpose, different purpose. But in order to step into that, we need to complete that part of it that was attached to something else, that was attached to the past. And this is the year. That's why I really feel that doing this healing work, that potentially for some people has been taking decades, this inner child healing, ancestor healing, all this healing work that is connected to what came before, which made us, to a certain extent, who we are now, in some cases to the highest extent. This year it can all be transmuted very quickly, very, very quickly, because we have the energy available to us. Also with Jupiter moving into Gemini. Gemini is again a fast energy, very quick thinking, right? So there is a lot of support. And I really feel like, for me personally, being here until end of April, so literally by the time Uranus, Jupiter make their conjunction, I'll be just about to leave, and I'll be already in Europe, hopefully. Well, these are the intentions, what's going to take place, God knows. I'll be already back in Europe for when Jupiter moves into Gemini, and, all the rest of it. Full moon in Sagittarius, May 23rd. So there are so many things, and this is like literally just step-by-step process, because nothing is going to change overnight, but this is going to change fast, especially as of now when Pluto is moving into Aquarius. So anyway, guys, I can't believe I've been talking for 52 minutes. It doesn't feel like, I feel like I've been talking for 10, but, I get lost in my own head. So, so I'm going to read this, which came to me. This, like literally just before I press record, is the longest channeling I have done so far, which again is telling me that I'm probably meant to share it. So, okay, so where does it start here? So I ask about what does my soul wants to tell me today about Pluto entering Aquarius? And I got this. Change. There is a big change on the horizon. It's time. It's time for this change, for this shift in human consciousness. You all have been preparing for this for many, many lifetimes. Not all of you are going to experience it. Some souls are approaching the end of their contract on this plane, but many new souls are coming, ready to incarnate and help to support humanity in this time of massive transformation. Transmutation, really, because nothing will be the same by the time Pluto is done with Aquarius in 2044. Year of master number frequency 44, another 8. We are in the year 8. 2044 holds 8 as well, 448, but with the number 2 it gives you 10, the endings and new beginnings, the ultimate closing of the cycle and beginning of the new one. It's a never-ending cycle of life and evolution. Everything is in constant state of flow and evolution, moving towards the next level on the spiral, never stagnant. However, sometimes you need to go a few pegs down in order to be catapulted higher. This is where you are all now. Humanity will be taking a step back, facing the consequences of the past first, before being catapulted rapidly into its next brand new era. But remember, everything already exists. Everybody is experiencing that which they are which they are a frequency match to. Therefore, focus on that which you wish to experience. Do not give your power and your life force to the opposite. You all will be experiences both to a certain extent. The collective change will be impacting everyone. The way how will be determined by the individual. Some will use it to set themselves free, some will fall deeper into despair and clutches of fear and external control. Pluto will move things very fast. This year especially will be a bit of a roller coaster because of the transition, endings of one cycle and beginning of the next. The pace will become much more clearly defined from next year onwards. There's no need for despair, however. Your souls are excited for this change. This is why you all came. It's an exciting time to be alive. In one lifetime, all the previous karma can be culminated and cleared. It's an opportunity for the greatest souls grow ever. There's a lot to feel excited about. There'll be a lot to celebrate. There'll be a lot to feel sad about and to mourn over also, but all has its place in the tapestry of life on earth. Take each experience as it comes and learn the most out of it. You need not to keep repeating the same lessons and keep attracting the same types of people anymore. It's time to let it all go. Release the past, release the old story. You are getting an opportunity to be rebirthed, a brand new cycle, a brand new life for a brand new you. Embrace the change. There's nothing to fear. Your soul is ready. Your soul is powerful. It's time to reconnect with your soul and embody its unlimited essence and once again. Then the miracles can start appearing in your life again. Believe and you shall see, you shall experience. The choice is yours. It always has been. Nothing is being done to you. You chose it. Your soul chose it. You have the free will, so use it wisely to select the timeline, the story you most wish to experience, and trust you always have help available. Each of you has myriad of guides. You're never alone. You are all part of the same. We are all part of the same one unity consciousness. The time of your reunion is coming. Just have faith and trust. You will never experience something you are not ready for. It's time to see yourself clearly for who you truly are, and we are always with you, ready to support you. You are eternally loved. Be you and be free. You were born for these times. So this is what I got. So I think I close with that because I'm almost 1 hour in. So I hope that this reading, this recording has been helpful and potentially gives you some peace of mind with regards to what we are going to be experiencing. Once again, I don't think, and I am not naive enough to think that it will be easy, but we are ready for this. I really, on a soul deep level, I feel that it's just a matter of being open-minded and trying to perceive the reality you're experiencing from multidimensional point of view. Okay, guys, I wish you all a beautiful Aquarius season, and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye, everyone.